As you heard from the Prime Minister, and based on what we have heard from persons who have been living on this earth before us, Tropical Storm Erika is one of the most devastating storms to strike this beautiful country, Dominica, in living memory. The Honorable Prime Minister, in his last address, apprised us as to the monumental task confronting us to rebuild this beautiful country. We all must make it our collective responsibility to build a better Dominica in order to restore this beautiful country as a beacon of hope for all, and to leave a legacy of promise and hope for our children and our children's children. Having said that, we always appreciate to rebuild Dominica in a better manner. And as you heard from the Honorable Prime Minister in his last address, we have to mobilize to the tune of $1.2 billion and also mobilize the necessary skill sets. Certainly we have to learn from the lessons of Erika. And in that regard, therefore, we must attempt to build our roads and our bridges better and build our houses in safer areas. The approach on which we pursue to build a better Dominica has to be informed by professional advice. For example, all the stones and the trees that were deposited in our rivers came from the mountaintops. It seems to me that we have to get persons with the qualifications to go into the hinterland and in areas of geology, hydrology, and to see how the lands were formed and the relationship of water with the land, etc., among those things, and to look at the various environmental hazards going forward. That, of course, we have heard from our Prime Minister and all the other experts who have been there assisting us. However, as we pursue the broader developmental objective of rebuilding a better Dominica, we have been able, since the passage of Erika, to embark on some immediate response mechanism with a view of bringing some semblance of normalcy back to this country. We have been able to actually open up access to most of our major arteries and communities. And in that regard, talking about access to our major arteries and communities, there are some areas that are actually still cut off from the rest of the country. Boudica and Delices. And I want us to actually place some attention on Boudica and Delices insofar as what do we do in the interim, to have some practical solution in terms of getting access by way of vehicular traffic to those communities on a temporary basis while we address the more long-term intervention. And that, of course, the Chief Technical Officer in the Ministry of Public Works will speak to just now. The Ministry was mandated to provide some practical solutions in that regard. Initially, two options were actually presented. The second one being a temporary access, but limited to pedestrians. That would mean, therefore, the people of Delices and Boudica, bearing in mind the advice that we have gotten for the long-term intervention would take a minimum of 4 months, that is to say, to build a bridge over the gorge. We believe that we should try to have a more practical intervention in the interim that would allow for vehicular traffic access. The ministry officials went over the weekend, and having collated additional information, they are now proposing a new approach that would provide vehicular traffic access to the people of Delices and Boudica. And based on what I've been advised, hopefully we can see the actual commencement of work sometime this week, and that will take a period of 4 weeks to see the actual completion. Secondly, the issue of Roseau and the congestion in Roseau is something that we have to try to address. And what can be done in order to decongest the city of Roseau? It has been a nightmare driving in and around Roseau post-Erica. The long-term plan is to construct a new West Bridge, but based on some technical advice that we have received, there is some corrective work that can be done to the West Bridge. And in the interim, with a view of reopening the West Bridge in a matter of a week, I've been advised, so for vehicular traffic access. That to me is very important. You have to have a sense of commerce back into a major city, more so the city of Roseau. And the other issue is that we know that between the two bridges, namely the East Lower Black Bridge and the West Bridge, the road was seriously washed away or undermined. So we're going to ensure that in quick time, a returning wall is constructed between those two bridges, and for the express purpose also of restoring access there. The issue of dredging the river, Roseau River is very critical. So an estimate has been presented, and that will be done almost concurrently as the other works that are being done. The issue of the resettlement of our people who have been displaced since Erica is critical to our rebuilding effort. You may recall that the Prime Minister had made a pronouncement of 300 houses from Venezuela. That is correct, and of course, to start 50 houses, I want to say to you that the first 50 houses have actually arrived as of yesterday. As we speak, works are ongoing at the site where these houses are to be installed, and in due time we will see the actual commencement of those houses.